All right, Scott, I got a quick video for you here. I want to talk about a couple of things. Just, we have that tendency right now for the right elbow to get too far back and for you to, feel like you're covering it too much with your chest, and you're getting the pulls when you do that. So what we want to do is try to get a sense of how do we keep those arms more in front of us. So one of the drills that I want you to do, and I know your drills on the range have been good and your practice on the course has been good, but just trying to find some other drills you can do that will help maybe give you another feel so that you can transfer to the course a little better. So one of the drills I want you to do is I want you to get the feeling that you're going to keep your hips facing the ball even as you go back. And as you come down, you want your arms to return in front of you. And basically what we're trying to do is get that feel of that triangle coming of the arms coming back down in front. And once you get it in front, as you come through, you're just going to post up and then just get everything to go together through to the target. So you're going to feel like the triangle staying much more in front of you through the ball as you're posting up and as you're trying to finish towards the target or fall through. So you'll have this sense that the club is much more in front of you the whole time. Now I'm going to demonstrate through some here. I'm going to give you a kind of a exaggeration of really keeping my body facing the ball and trying to get my arms to work more out in front of my body instead of around my body here. Now as I do this, the feeling that I have is that my arms are working much more in front of me, sort of in a U shape. They're going up in front, down in front, flattens out at the bottom, and then that U comes up the other side. Again, that's a perception or a feel that I'm having here. So right now, all I'm trying to do is get the feeling that my arms are staying much more out in front of me as I'm making these swings, and I'm trying to get that U-shaped feel. Okay, now, once I have that basic feel, I'm going to go ahead and start posting up or posturing up, so I can get to a fuller finish. Same U-shaped feel, a little better posture up now. Now when doing this one, you may get little pushes, little pulls, but they're going to be in your corridor. So it's not going to be a big one. It's not going to be the type that gets you in trouble. And the feelings that you've had with the preset wrist drill and keeping that elbow in position, as that right arm has a little bit more roll as you go back, those are all designed to keep the arms more in front of you. Because you get in trouble when your elbow goes back, you get things a little bit shut, and from here you feel like when your chest is going to cover the ball, you get really outside. That is where your big pull comes into play. And that's also where you start getting those heel shots because that club's getting further out, closer to the line, instead of feeling like you're making more room between you and the ball as you're going through the ball. So again, more of that U-shaped feel, arms in front. And as an exaggeration, the club sort of feels like it's going like this. So you can see how the club's staying much more out in front of my chest. You don't see my hands deep over here, and you don't see my hands coming out deep over here. Instead, it's much more in front of me. Now that one came off a lot like what I imagine your shots. That just a slight little pull cut, which has been the stock shot that you've played your best golf with over the years. Okay, one more here. Okay, now you can work on that feeling of those shots with your 3 levels as well. So you can start off with level 1, that lower flighted shot, choke down the little balls back a little more. And you can move it up to level 2. Again, just really a little bit bigger posturing up action, a little further back, a little bigger posturing up action. And then level 3, take it up to a more full swing. Okay, now the thing I want you to understand is even though you're trying to keep your hips facing the ball and feel this arm action be much more in front of you, there's no way you're going to keep your hips still. I mean, you turn, you have good dynamic hip action, so even though you're going to try to keep this in front of you, you're still going to get a good turn. Especially on the right way through, you're still going to get a good turn. So the feeling is, though, that you're not trying to turn as much through the ball. Now, we need some turn in the backswing. We don't want those hips to slide. So in the past, I've talked to you about getting a deep enough hip turn in the pass instead of sliding, and I still want that. But the feeling that you're working with right now, or you're trying to find right now, is more of an arm feeling instead of the body feeling. Your body actions are getting a lot better. Okay, one more here. Just trying to get that feel. Arms are trying to stay in front, but notice that my body still naturally turns back and through as I do this. Okay, and with all those shots, I never missed one left, and that's what we're really looking for. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the driver now. Okay, you notice I have the 2 alignment sticks out in front of me here. I put those out there to simulate a corridor that we're trying to put the shot down. If you can play corridor golf, you can play great golf, as you know. And so what we want to do now is understand what do we need to do to get that ball going down the corridor. And the thing I always like to talk about is face and force. I want the face and the force to match up. If I can get that face and force to match up through impact, I can send this ball down the corridor. Now, as you get started, I just want you to do sort of a bunting action. And as a real mini example, if you were going to set up there and just putt the ball off the tee, you'd have no problem. You could putt it right down the corridor all day long. But at some point, as the swing gets bigger and bigger, that's where we run into some issues. So what we want to do is get a feel of bunting it a little bit bigger, but still trying to get that face and that force to match so we can actually send this right down our corridor. Okay, so that was a nice low bunting action. Could have been a little more solid. Slight little cut. Again, that's okay. I'm an under golfer, you're an under golfer, that'll work for you. But again, I was able to send that ball right down the corridor. And as I continue to do this, I just want to feel them more and more solid. And I want to make sure I'm continuing to send those shots down the corridor. Really, it's more of an eye-hand coordination awareness thing I'm working on here, trying to get that face and that force to match. It's kind of like there's a wall right here. I want to go wham, right back on the wall. Wham, like hammering a nail into the wall there. So I'm just trying to get that awareness. Face and force right down my corridor. Okay, so I took that one up a little bit bigger one. It's almost getting to the level where I'd actually play it out on the golf course. Again, that was a nice, solid, bunt, face and force right down my corridor. Okay, so finally I'll take it up to what I call my level 1 shot. And same thing, I want face and force to happen through the ball. I'm just going to go back a little bit more and through a little bit more. So that was a real good one there. That's my level 1, nice low penetrating shot, flighted. I can use that on a par, a shorter par 4 if I'm going to lay up instead of using a 3-wood or a 2-iron. Inverness club here. I use that on 1, I use it on 2, I use it on 10, I use it on 11, I use it on 18. So, those are the type of holes where you'd actually use that laser, level 1 shot. Okay, so if I want to take it up a notch again, I'm just going to get a little bit more turn in the backswing, a little bigger follow through. However, I still want to make sure that I have that face force alignment as I go through the ball. So once again, really good face force action right down the corridor. Again, a little bit more power, so it went a little bit higher. Still have that penetration. So all I do now is I just keep working it up. Level 3, 4, and 5. And again, I know you have 3 levels, so you'll just work it through your 3 levels. So here we go. A little bigger turn, a little bigger finish. Okay, now there's the first level where I missed the corridor, trying to go for a little bit bigger swing, and this is typically what happens to us on the golf course. Now what happened there, that ball started in the left side of the corridor, and I cut it. So I have the face matching the wall, but I have the force going harder left, and that's why I cut that one more than I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to stick with level 3 now until I can get some really good feeling, face force, and then finish it off right down the corridor. Face force finish now. Good, that was a nice one there. Face force finish, they matched up pretty good. It was a little bit more cut than ideal, but that drive will never get me in any trouble. Ended up on the right wall over here. I can live with that. Again, if I can get them to match up a lot squarer, that's going to go a lot straighter. Again, level 3 here, face force finish. Okay, started that more in the center of the corridor, a little bit of fade, ended up on the right wall again here. So, again, the way you and I play with that fade, that's not going to hurt us. I can play that shot all day long. If I'm not releasing it hard enough, I'm going to get a little bit more fade than I want. Okay, same shot again. Now what I'm noticing as I'm warming up here, these are the first shots I've played today, that I'm getting a little bit of what you get in your swing. Instead of covering it with my chest though, as I'm coming up, I open my chest a little too soon. I don't stay in it and with it long enough. So when I open my chest too soon, I get that force going a little bit left. It's hard for me to get a full release when I do that, and that's why I get a little bit more cut than I want. So just like you, we were talking about when you're coming down, you want that back to stay to the target longer so I can get that force going more out in the corridor there. And so I want to get that feeling now. I don't want the face left and the force left. I need to get a feel that that force is going a little bit more out to the right for me right now because my force is going too far left. So I'm going to try to keep my left shoulder back to the target a little longer here so I can get that force going down the corridor. So that one was really good. Again, I really felt like there was a wall right here on my left shoulder, that as I came back, I got my left shoulder on that wall and I stayed a little bit more from the inside, and that allowed me to get the face and the force to match up better. I mean, that one went right down the left side of the corridor. Again, I'd take that all day long also. So really what you're trying to feel, instead of your chest covering it coming down, you want to feel more like your left shoulder's a little high, it's up against the wall, and then that way you feel like you can come in a little bit more from the inside. You can get the face and the force working more out to the right because you've been getting a lot of pulls, and that way you can send it out there in the corridor. One more here. Okay, so that level 3 was ideal. That went right down the center of the corridor, very straight. And so, again, once I feel like I've really got the feeling going in my level 2 or my level 3 shot, then I'd work it up to level 4 and level 5. And again, to me, that's just a bigger turn, more posturing up, and a bigger finish. So you can work it right up until you get to your full swing. So that was really good again. Nice power swing right down the corridor. Again, I felt that from the top, I really kept my left shoulder working up against that wall, feeling like I could work it a little bit more from the inside, get the face and the force, both of them working a little bit more out in the corridor. Instead of feeling more covering it with your body and trying to hold it off, I want you to get that feel that when you're coming into impact, you're more this way, your right shoulder's a little more under, you feel like you can really get back up against that wall, face and force matching. So take a look at the video, get some practice in, and let me know if any of those feelings or images help you.